Hey everyone, welcome to People Now. Really good to see you. Wow, it has just been such an incredibly emotional weekend across our country and no doubt for many people watching right now as well.
Yeah, after a weekend full of protests, chaos, and pain that so many people are experiencing across the country and in the world, we wanted to start the show a little differently today and show you some really powerful pictures that were captured over the past few days. Peaceful protests in some places turning into violent protests, looting, so many raw emotions following the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. The news coverage was difficult to watch, but so important not to turn away. I mean, Jeremy, I'm here in Wisconsin. I can just go away from social media, turn off the TV, but I realize that that's not the good thing to do right now, and I'm trying to become a better ally. I think this is eye-opening for so many people, especially people that have white privilege.
Yeah, it definitely is a moment where it makes you kind of call into question everything. And you're right, like as a person that will never fully understand exactly what people of color and Black people go through in the United States, it's important to figure out how to support, how to be an ally. But also, watching the news, watching my Twitter feed was so overwhelming at times. I had to then find, and I saw a few celebrities like Kristen Bell kept posting more positive moments where you saw police kind of embracing protesters and protesters going up and actually having conversations with police and law enforcement officials. Things like that are the gleams of hope that I really cling to at moments like this. And then it goes to the point of being a dad. Like, how do you talk to your family about this? How do you create an environment at home that is free of hate, that addresses these issues? And how do I raise my little girls to be aware of the pain that other people are going through? And it reminds me of when I did a dad talk last year with Nick Cannon, talking about the racial differences that our kids experience. And he said that he teaches his little girls, his kids, and that I will teach my little girls to embrace differences. Differences are good. They're not bad. They do exist. They are real and they're good. And that's just a distinction that I'm trying to kind of remember now as I'm a dad. But anyway, we continue this weekend talking about Nick Cannon. He was one of many public figures who shared their support and even took part in the George Floyd protests across the country. For Nick Cannon, it was important that he go to Minneapolis, where Floyd died. He explained in an essay for Variety that he, quote, needed to be right there on 38th Street in Chicago, where George Floyd's life was tragically stolen from him. Cannon adds, quote, I needed to see the people in that community, how much love they had for their community and their people, and how much pain this has caused. In his essay, Cannon says that he did not want to be another celebrity tweeting or reposting a picture. He wanted to be, quote, authentic and educated and informed.
John Cusack also attended protests, sharing his experiences on social media, including a jarring experience he had in Chicago. He wrote, cops didn't like me filming the burning car, so they came at me with batons, hitting my bike. So let's take a quick look at the video he posted.
All right. Get out of here. Let's go.
Cusack later clarified the situation in a comment, writing, quote, they didn't assault me. Keep it in perspective, and I should not be the headline or the story. He went on to add, important thing is the anger and pain out there. I'm of no importance. I was just a witness to what was happening in Chicago.
Many other stars are using their platforms to speak out about racial injustice as well. Let's take a look at some of them now, like Beyoncé, who shared a powerful video message on Instagram encouraging her fans to continue to raise their voices on the issue. Take a look.
We're broken and we're disgusted. We cannot normalize this pain. And I'm not only speaking to people of color. If you're white, Black, brown, or anything in between, I'm sure you feel hopeless by the racism going on in America right now. No more senseless killings of human beings. No more seeing people of color as less than human. We can no longer look away.
Jamie Foxx also shared a video showing many of the Black lives that have been lost in recent years. He told his followers in part, we have to change policy when it comes to police brutality. Oprah Winfrey and her best friend Gayle King had an in-depth conversation about the protests and racial injustice on the latest edition of her Oprah's Your Life in Focus, A Vision Forward online series. Watch what Oprah had to say.
In this moment of your outrage, the next time you see an injustice and you turn and pretend that you didn't see it, then you are a part of the problem and not the overall conscious solution. That's it. And we have all got to do in our own way to work toward the systemic dismantling of injustices and racism and the caste system in this country that allows for racism to exist. That is what has to happen.
On Sunday, Ciara shared a photo with her son, Future, alongside a message calling for change. Her caption reads in part, I pray that when you get older, a change will finally have come. I'm going to keep my faith. I'm praying that the losses of our Black kings and queens won't be in vain. Enough is enough. I'm praying for unity.
Over the weekend, cities across the United States erupted in protest after the death of George Floyd, an unarmed black man in Minneapolis who died in police custody on May 25th after a white officer pinned him to the ground with a knee on his neck. The disturbing scene was caught on video. The 4 police officers at the scene have since been fired, and Derek Chauvin, who pinned Floyd down, has since been arrested and charged with third-degree manslaughter. He is currently in a maximum security prison.
George Floyd's brother, Terrence Floyd, is speaking out about his brother's death in an interview with Good Morning America on Monday. After a weekend of protests against racial injustice and police brutality across the country, Terrence condemned the violence and looting occurring in some communities, saying that it is, quote, overshadowing what's going on. Here's more of what he had to say.
I do feel like it's overshadowing what's going on because, like I said, he was about peace, he was about unity, but the things that's transpiring now, they may call it unity, but it's destructive unity. It's not what he was about. That's not what my brother was about.
Terrence went on to say that George would have motivated people to channel their anger into doing something positive, remembering his older brother as a gentle giant who was always about peace and unity. Really emotional here, and it's important to remember George Floyd as a human being, not just the symbol of this movement.
Another of George's brothers, Floyd, spoke out over the weekend about his conversations with President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. He says that he begged Biden to seek justice for his brother, but that his conversation with Trump went very differently.
Floyd says this: "It was so fast. He didn't give me the opportunity to even speak. It was hard. I was trying to talk to him, but he just kept pushing me off. I don't want to hear what you're talking about." Floyd went on to add, "I just told him I want justice. I said that I can't believe that they committed a modern-day lynching in broad daylight."
Floyd also called for all the officers in the video of his brother's death to be arrested and convicted of first-degree murder. And it appears the Minneapolis police chief agrees with him. On Sunday night, Chief Andrea Arredondo spoke with CNN and said this. Watch.
To the Floyd family, being silent or not intervening, to me, you're complicit. So I don't see a level of distinction any different. Mr. Floyd died in our hands. And so I see that as being complicit.
All 4 officers were fired last week, but only the officer seen with his knee on George Floyd's neck has been arrested and charged. The other 3 bystanding officers have not been charged. But Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman says charges against them are likely.
Well, guys, we need stories to make us smile more than ever right now. So today, we're sharing some of our favorite moments of police showing solidarity with protesters. We begin in Michigan. Watch.
The only reason we're here is to make sure that you got a voice. That's it. There we go. Don't think for a second that he represents who these cops are from all over the county and around this nation. We go out there to help people, not do that nonsense. We want to be with y'all for real. So I took my helmet off and laid the batons down. I want to make this a parade, not a protest.
Genesee County Sheriff Chris Swanson joined protesters marching for George Floyd on Saturday. In the video, he can be seen smiling and interacting with other protesters.
Meanwhile, in Camden, New Jersey, police officers joined a march on Saturday afternoon. Camden County Police Chief Joe Wysocki, who has worked in the city for decades, even joined the front line of that protest.
There's also this powerful image of police officers kneeling during a rally in Coral Gables, Florida on Saturday. And in Minneapolis on Sunday, Police Chief Madara Arredondo was photographed kneeling at a memorial for George Floyd outside the Cup food store where Floyd was killed.
Meanwhile, on Sunday, the Nashville Metro Police Department shared this touching image of a police officer praying with a protester. According to the PD, during a confrontation between protesters and the police, the pair began talking about their shared Christian faith. Then the officer asked the protester to join him in prayer.
So these are just a few of the many instances over the weekend where police and protesters stood side by side. I mean, right now it's really easy to look at the violence and the looting and think that's all there is. But in these times especially, we want to remember the heartwarming moments as well.
All right, stay with us. It's the first time in history that Miss America will reign for 2 years due to the coronavirus. We'll hear exclusively from Miss America herself, Camille Schreier, who is finding new ways to connect with people across the country. Plus, we love it when she joins us. Bebe Rexha will be here sharing the musical way she's honoring the class of 2020. Stick around.
Season 12 of The Real Housewives of New York City is in full swing. Our producer, Sam Belikoff, caught up with Ramona Singer, and she dished on everything from her changed relationship with Luann de Lesseps this season, her love life, spending time in Florida near her ex-husband Mario, and some statements that she made in recent episodes, including this. Watch.
I don't want to be alone again. I'm afraid. Well, I'm afraid I'm going to be alone forever, so I can relate to that, okay? I'm going to be alone together.
You said that you're afraid you're going to be alone forever. Is that a thought that you struggle with often?
Well, you know what? I'm not going to settle, and I have this really heart-to-heart talk with some of my girlfriends. When you're in your, say, 20s and 30s, and now even women in their 40s, your goal is to be married and have a family, have a home, build your wealth up. Well, I did all that, I had all that. So now what does Ramona want? Well, I'm being more hedonistic, and I don't need to marry a man to marry a man. I'm not going to be with a man just say, oh, this is my man, and look who I have. I don't need someone just to fill a seat or take care of me financially or just to have sex with or whatever. I want it all. I want a partner. I want a true partner, and I'm not going to settle. So I don't know if I'll ever find that. I don't know. I hope I will. All I need is one, but we'll see.
What does your dream man look like?
My dream man look like? Physically fit, because I like to be physically fit, and I'm drawn to that, and I think it's just a healthy way of being. Someone who always has a smile on his face and doesn't hold a grudge. Someone really bright. I love intelligence. It stimulates me. And someone at this point in his life is more like me, where he doesn't have to work from 8 in the morning to 10 at night. He's already proven himself. He still has his foot in the door with business, but he can travel and enjoy his life. So I guess that's about it. Does that sound good?
It does.
You know anybody for me?
I don't.
Send it my way.
If I do, I'll let you know. Speaking of dating, so over the years, there's been a lot of moments on the show where you, Luann, and Sonia, even Bethany, end up competing for men's attention or dates. Now that Dorinda is single, do you see you and her going for the same men in the future?
Dorinda just doesn't. Dorinda right now, I think she's just still raw from breaking up with John. So, I took her to a party in the Hamptons, and she thought one of these men was cute, but she was nervous to flirt. I think she's feeling not quite ready. So I can't even answer that question, because until she feels good about herself to go out and date, there's no competition. Because right now she's just not feeling, she's feeling very vulnerable, which is, you expect someone to feel that way. So I don't know, but I don't think she likes the same men. She likes artsy men, and I like more businessmen. She likes artsy men, I think.
At the Orchard in the episode, there was a moment where Dorinda said to you,
in the moment when he was going to almost come back with you, like, I'm different. No, doesn't make you a bad person. No, you just outgrow someone.
I don't think you've spoken about that time before. How hard a decision was that for you?
I'm sure everyone, when they get divorced, they question what they did, and I know he feels bad about what happened, and he misses his family, and yeah, part of him would like to come back, absolutely. But I am different now. I'm just so much, I've grown so much more than he has, and I love him as a person, but I'm not in love with him. So there's a difference, and I can't be with someone. I have to really be in love with someone to be with them. And I'm no longer in love.
I think the internet is ablaze, and this has come up on Watch What Happens Live of you and Mario quarantining together. I know now you're in a separate place, but what have you learned about each other during this time of isolation?
That we're like clockwork. We work like a machine as a family. He even said that, wow, I miss you girls being downstairs with me. I go, but the door's always open here. We're only 3 flights above. And he was here last night for dinner. Tomorrow night we're going to make dinner. We still are seeing each other and doing things as a family. We're just, we operate really well together. That was the secret of our marriages too, of our marriage, I think. I remember my girlfriend, when I was going through problems with my marriage with Mario, she really didn't know. She said, the way you all work together, setting the table and doing the lunches and the dinners and just working as a team, and the way you speak and handle everything. It's nice, actually. It's when I moved, it was funny because when I moved into this apartment the first night, I think I called him the next night, and I go, he's just like, he goes, I miss you girls being here. I go, I miss being there with you too, because you have a routine, and I was with him for 27 years, for goodness sake. So yeah.
Switching gears a little bit, so on Watch What Happens Live, Tinsley spoke about her upcoming wedding to Scott, how she's planning on inviting Leah and Sonia, and then she basically said, we'll see, depending on the size of the wedding. Would you be offended if you didn't get an invite?
No, I adore Tinsley, and you know what? You can't invite everybody, and she knows I wish her well, and that's all I care about. And if I get invited, great, and if I don't, that's okay.
I interviewed Luann, and she talked about how your relationship is much more solid this year than it's been. What do you attribute that to on your end?
I have a lot more respect for her. I have a lot more respect for her because I think she's grown so much and she's really changed so much. She really has a sense of who she is and owns it. Whereas I felt in the past, she was kind of pretending to be something different or just, not showing herself, hiding behind other images, hiding behind the name of the Countess, hiding behind what was really going on in her life. Now, she says it like it is. Hey, I'm having a problem not drinking when you girls are drinking. Hey, I take it one day at a time. Hey, every day is a challenge. She's more real. And I love that about her. And I just really have a bond with her I never had before. And I'm enjoying it tremendously.
Yeah. Speaking of Luann, in the trailer, she said,
My show is tried and true. F you.
She confirmed to me that some of the women do have issues with her cabaret again. How much did those issues rear up again for you?
I think some of the women, I'm not going to name names, they resent the fact she has the cabaret show. I mean, I've always been the type of a woman, I applaud my girlfriends. They can, have a better business than me, a better figure than me, a better anything than me, and I'm not jealous. It's like, wow, good for you. And I'm really proud of Luann. She loves doing the show. I think she's really good at it. I mean, my goodness, Live Nation picked her up. Live Nation is the #1 premier concert person in the United States. For them to approach her and say, hey, we want to take you, nationally on the tour. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she goes international. I mean, our show is international in 300 countries.
You can catch Ramona in new episodes of The Real Housewives of New York City, Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Bravo. Now, moving on to this.
Miss America 2020 Camille Schreier is set to make history as she becomes the first woman to hold the title for 2 years after the organization announced that the 2021 competition will be postponed due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Since winning in December, Schreier has made it her goal to promote drug safety and abuse prevention while also championing science, technology, engineering, and math education, all while being a student at Virginia Commonwealth University School of Pharmacy herself. See what else she had to say in an exclusive interview with People's writer-reporter Joelle Goldstein.
I'm just kind of embracing that. I don't do really anything the regular way, and I think that that's important for young people to see, especially because sometimes we feel like we have to be like everybody else. Just do your own thing. Create your own path, and I think that that's so important. So we're just gonna roll with it. It's really kind of cool. I'm gonna potentially, I better be a Jeopardy question now. I'm just saying, this is a 100-year-old organization, and I'm really the first person who's been faced with this. So how can I adapt? How can I figure out how to bring the work that I was doing on the ground online?
Schreier's work as Miss America would normally center around in-person engagements, so she says her first year with the title has been nothing like she imagined. The effects of COVID-19 have forced her to get creative in order to continue spreading her message.
With that in mind, Schreier has teamed up with 3M to help launch Science at Home. It's a free online program that provides STEM-focused video content for teachers and students. She tells us that she saw a need and wanted to help solve that problem. She also tells us why she thinks teaching kids from home has been a blessing. Watch.
I think about the students that don't necessarily have the access to the technology to access the resources that I am putting out in terms of online video content. Some students don't have access to that at home. As Miss Virginia, especially, I was traveling to areas in rural Southwest Virginia in the Blue Ridge Mountains that didn't really have access to internet. These students went home, they had difficult family situations, and they didn't have access to those resources. So I want to be able to reach all of those students, and sometimes that's impossible. But I'm doing the best that I can from home. And I think that I'm alleviating some of the stress from the teachers, I think, to be able to take over their classroom for a science lesson one day, to Skype in, to be able to, do a science video that they're able to pipe into their classroom. I don't feel any added pressure, but I think that it gives me a longer opportunity to make an impact where maybe I'll be able to go back into those schools in 2021 and make that impact. So I'm looking forward to those opportunities, and I'm trying to do everything I can, even if I am completely stuck at home for the rest of this year, that if that is what I'm able to do, that I still feel like I have fulfilled what I wanted to do. And quite honestly, with these kind of online video programs and educational content platforms, I can actually kind of reach more students than I would have in person. I can only see so many kids in a school. I can only go so many places. But now I can quite literally be in 1,000 different places at once. And that's a really cool thing that I would have never had just doing things in person.
You might recognize J.K. Simmons' face and his voice from so many movies and TV shows, even commercials. His latest project is the Apple TV Plus miniseries called Defending Jacob, and he's dishing on that and so much more on the latest episode of PeopleTV's Couchsurfing. In one of our favorite moments, J.K. talks about working with Chris Evans and his latest career goal involving all of the famous Chris's in Hollywood. Take a look.
That scene right there with Chris Evans was intense. Did you enjoy facing off with Captain America?
I, had a good feeling that he was going to be a good guy to work with. My plan now, my career plan now, is to play the father of every handsome, blue-eyed movie star stud named Chris. So I checked off my Chris Evans box. I just finished a film with Chris Pratt where I play his father. So that's number 2. So if you're casting out there, I'm looking, Chris Pine. I'm available.
And Hemsworth.
And Chris Hemsworth would be, in either order. I mean, we don't have to go alphabetical, whatever.
Right.
We also can't forget JK's performance in 2014's Whiplash. He was so good, he even nabbed a Best Supporting Actor Oscar for that role. But things got awkward on stage with Lupita Nyong'o when she tried to present him with the award. Here's what he said to Lola about that. Watch.
Take me back to that moment when your name was called.
I chased the Steadicam guy, who was in my face at that time, sort of chased him up and ended up going up the wrong set of stairs. And Lupita is standing there with the trophy that she's going to hand to me. And I reach out to take the trophy with my left hand, and I'm starting to reach out with my right hand for like a handshake. And then I go, oh, no, this is Hollywood. You don't shake hands. You do the little, cheek kiss, air kiss, pretend thing. Mm-hmm. So I did this kind of faked her out. So if this is probably on YouTube. If you watch carefully, you'll see a little bit of a headbutt.
Oh.
I basically headbutted Lupita in that awkward moment, which she handled very graciously, and she walked off on her own 2 feet. So I think she was okay.
You can watch J.K. Simmons dive into some of his other roles as well. It's all on Couchsurfing right now on PeopleTV.
Yeah, we did it. Made a couple mistakes, yeah, we'll admit it.
Singer-songwriter Bebe Rexha has teamed up with Walgreens for a very special reason, to bring a little joy and a little recognition to the class of 2020. She reimagined the classic graduation song Pomp and Circumstance for the occasion, and when we caught up to chat, she revealed to me that she actually wrote it in just a few hours. Watch for that and so much more.
Yeah, you know what? Usually, I remember when we did Meant to Be with Florida Georgia Line, that came so quick. It was in a matter of 15 minutes, 4 hours, we had the full song. But, Walgreens, they hit me up and they were like, hey, we want to do a Pomp and Circumstance remake. Do you think this is something you'd like to do? And I'm like, that's kind of nice to be able to do something just for the class of 2020 because, they're not able to have their graduation. And that's kind of the highlight of, going to school. And I was like, I want to really do something nice for them. And, but they were like, you have a day. And I was like, a day? Okay, this is very interesting. So it was tough, but we pulled through and I really love the song and I think it's fun. And I just wanted to do something nice for all the graduates.
Yeah, and I love that people are getting in on it with TikTok. There's a TikTok challenge that goes along with it. Seniors do this transition with their cap and gown, which is so fun. What has the response been like from graduates?
I love seeing all their TikToks and stuff because it's just, it's exciting for them to celebrate in another way and to share it and be, and share their moments with them, especially on social media. So it's cute. It's fun that I get to celebrate with them. And I tried doing the challenge myself and it was very interesting and it was a bit tough, but just standing there with no clothes on, then doing the jump transition and then you have your cap and gown on.
You had a cap and gown in your TikTok for the song. Was that yours?
I had to go, no, it wasn't. I had to go and find one and put my mask on and run out and get it. But I was like, I need to make this special. So I did that whole thing.
Yeah. What do you remember from your own graduation experience?
I remember my mom, my dad, I got flowers. It was a very hot day. Oh man, it was in New York City in Staten Island. And I just remember sweating a lot, but being really excited. And I think my parents ordered one of my favorite rainbow cookie cakes, because, Italian cookies are a big thing in New York. So it was like my favorite cake, and I think about that cake all the time, especially that I'm in LA right now and I can't travel to see my family. So I miss it a lot. I miss home a lot.
Yeah, thinking back to that time, my graduation was also really, really hot. But if there was one piece of advice you could give to Bebe at that age, what would it be?
You know, I took everything so seriously. Like I thought like everything was about life or death, you know? And now I'm like, as you start getting wiser and growing older, you're like, you know, I'm like, I would tell myself to like relax, and nothing is that serious. And if something doesn't work out, it's probably for the better, and it'll always work out in the end of the day. Like nothing is do or die, you know?
Yeah, which I wish I could tell everyone that. I mean, I do. That's my number one thing.
Even myself today, you know? I have moments I'm like, I need to chill out. Like
exactly, because you're always gonna look back and think, why was I so stressed about something that really didn't matter that much?
I talked to my dad, you know, during the quarantine, and you know, we just talk, and sometimes he'll remind me, and I feel really, you know, he humbles me you know, he asks me, you know, he tells me to be grateful, and you know, so like he keeps it really simple. He's like, do you have a roof over your head? He's like, do you have food? You have a family? You have health? Sometimes it's like, and that's what I feel like this quarantine has taught me, you know, is like it brings it down to all the basics, you know, like what's really important, instead of like wanting that new like watch that came out or that bag. It's like you start seeing that like, yeah, those things are great, and we, you know, if you could and you are able to, you know, like buy yourself those things, amazing, but it's not it made it clear.
Yeah. So you're obviously staying really busy. You got this graduation song done in a matter of hours. Doing the TikTok dancing. Have you been working on any music? When can fans expect new music? I'm sure they're really excited about that.
Oh yeah, I think my fans are frustrated with me because I was gonna like put out, you know, I finished the album. I spent 2 years on it. I had one album and then I got rid of it, and then I kind of rewiped it because I just was going through a lot of changes, and I like to move and be honest with my music, and I feel like I went through a change, and I was like, I want to talk about what I'm going through right now as a woman, and you know, I kind of feel like I turned 30 this year, and I feel like for me, it's like, it's been this constant, like, you know, just this constant battle of like trying to figure out, like not figure out who I am, but like, I feel like there's two different sides to being a woman, you know, it's like being the boss, but then being like, you know, being feminine, but then it's like kind of all these kind of battles, but I don't want to ever be one thing or the other. I want to be the best balance of what I can for myself and to accept myself with that. So that's what the album has been like. It's been this kind of me writing about that balance as becoming a woman, you know, and yeah, pretty soon I'm getting ready to like shoot videos and writing treatments, and really I've been really focusing on the art, you know, more than ever, because there's no like running around and worrying about like unnecessary things. It's really about just like, I feel like I'm 17 again in my parents' basement writing these songs, you know, so very soon actually. And it's not just me saying that, it is very soon. Like we're working on dates and stuff like that now. So I'm very excited, and I'm kind of like, let's go, you know?
I'm excited too, because I really relate to you. I just turned 31, and I remember I interviewed you on the carpet at the CFDA Awards, and it was going to be your birthday, and then you were just so fun about turning 30, and you asked me how I felt. I'm like, I feel great. I don't even know why it's a big deal. I feel awesome.
I honestly love it because I feel like more than ever, I feel so much better about myself. Whereas like I remember in my 20s, like I always felt like kind of insecure and unsure, and I always feel like, you know, it's funny because I remember like bumping into somebody and they might have given me bad vibes, and I thought it was something I did. And now it's like, you know, I can understand because I go through those moments. So I'm like, maybe they're going through something in their lives, and I learned not to make everything about me, you know? So there's a lot of things that I've learned, and it's nice.
Yeah, if someone's mean to me, I legit think, oh, they probably just had a bad day or something bad happened. So I love how you're passionate about that, and you've really been paving the way for women in the music industry. You've been active in the See Her movement with the hashtag See Her, Hear Her. So why is this so important to you?
Because I remember starting out, you know, in the industry, and at one point I did feel really alone, and I felt like I was kind of, I don't know why, but you know, it's tough to make friends in the industry, and I feel like with women, there's a sense of like competition all the time, and I think that's because there's not enough women in certain industries. So when there's not enough room at a table, we feel like, oh man, like I have to fight for this chair, instead of feeling like, oh, there's way more chairs for the women. Like, I hope I get one of them, and I hope, you know, it's just this, like, I feel like it's been built in our heads through society where we feel like we have to fight for the man or fight for the position or, be the only girl or be the best one. And what I'm learning is like, I wish I would have had that info when I first started out and I had somebody to like be around me. So I think it's really important to spread that information.
Yeah, Bebe, thank you so much for talking about all of this. And everyone, make sure you check out her newest rendition of Pomp and Circumstance. It's out now.
All right, guys, we want to end the show today the way we started it, and that is acknowledging the pivotal moment that we're in as a country. We want to encourage you to learn more about George Floyd, learn more about the racism and injustice faced by so many people every day.
Yeah, we also encourage you to use your resources to help out in whatever way you can. I know a lot of people are feeling really helpless right now, but there are great resources out there. Start educating yourselves, educating your family and your friends. And you can also make donations. And even if it feels like you're not making a difference, even just putting the word out there, maybe on social media, will hopefully open up other people's eyes. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, be kind, and we will see you back here tomorrow.
Bye, guys.